Hey there and welcome back to Sims Sunday. My name is Pete and today we complete the last day of Paul's tenure as a toddler. We will also see where Pete is heading in the military career, and now that Ayesha is finally a chess grandmaster, we have a lot of time on our hands with her as well. So let's get to it and start the day off with Pete, who has about an hour left until the carpool arrives, and we can use that hour to continue upgrading the stereo in front of the house. Then we switch over to Ayesha. She has the day off today, and because we're not in a hurry, let's take care of Paul first. Now that Paul has a clean diaper and something to eat, it's time we work on a wish that Ayesha has for quite a while now, and that is to work out for 12 hours straight. Alright, Pete's carpool has arrived. He has managed to get at least a bit of upgrade work in and will now head off to work, where he will work hard as usual. And just shortly after Pete has arrived at work, we're being asked to change to the science career, and no thank you, we will stay in the military. With Pete being at work, Ayesha working out, and Paul just playing around until he ages up, there is really not much of interest happening right now, which means that Paul's trip to the potty chair is probably the most exciting thing for the next few hours. Paul will continue to play, switching from the dollhouse to the toy box, and then we can already jump ahead and over to Pete, who has finished his day at work. A bit of cash, that's always nice, but here it comes. The promotion to squad leader, that is what we were actually after. And since we have a bit of money in our account, let's invest some of that, well actually the vast majority, and buy out the restaurant. Alright, lovely. We are now the owners of the Corsican Bistro. That's 4 out of 5 venues that we now own. So only one more to go until we own all 5 and fulfill a wish that Pete has, and I believe Ayesha has the same one as well. Okay, back at home, and we will now set up the birthday party for Paul. The start time at 7 PM is the earliest time that we can start. Let's make it a birthday party, of course, and since Pete is the host, let's only invite Aaron Kennedy, his boss, because that's the only person he actually needs a relationship boost with. Alright then, there's only one thing left before we can get the party started, and that is of course to buy a birthday cake. Until our guest arrives, Pete can continue to upgrade the stereo, and once that is completed, which will likely be after the party is over, he can return it to Ileana for a nice cash reward. And that looks like Ayesha's 12-hour treadmill run has finally come to an end. Congratulations! I think a shower is well deserved now. And in the meantime, Pete has also finished the upgrade on the stereo. And our first and only guest arrives as well, so let's have a birthday. Alright, Paul has aged up to a child, and that means we get a few lifetime happiness points for both Pete and Ayesha, and for Paul we also get to choose another trait. And I was very close to selecting the workaholic trait here, but in the end I chose bookworm. Both traits would allow us to finish homework faster, something that is definitely valuable now that Paul goes to school, and while the workaholic trait also raises the fun bar while doing homework, bookworm has many advantages for writers, and that is something we want to explore with Paul. And with that trait now selected, we also get the first choice for a lifetime wish, illustrious author, maxing the writing and painting skills. That fits very well, and yes, let's not wait for another one to appear and take this one. And who knows, maybe we're actually able to finish that one before Paul ages up to a young adult. Alright, now everyone has had some cake, and Paul will immediately start writing on the computer while we can put the fully upgraded stereo back into the family inventory and tell Pete to return it. Ayesha will clean up the remaining dishes, still in the hopes that the dishwasher breaks at one point, because we have not yet repaired a single electrical object with Pete. But so far things go smoothly, that means Ayesha can now go outside. We only need 3 more for the skill challenge, and who knows, after grabbing Chess Grandmaster in the last episode, maybe we can get this over with today. Pete has also returned a stereo already. We are 600 simoleons richer, and that means now that Paul is a child, we need to change things up around the house a bit. As you can see here, I have moved all the toddler stuff out of the house, and to the side here, I have also moved the window over one spot to the left, and if you have a look at the household funds, we are slightly below 3,500. And if you remember the very first episode of this series, there is one particular item that we cannot afford yet. So let's sell the dollhouse, go into the buy menu, and buy another one of the most expensive beds available. Yes, I know that's probably overkill for a child, but Paul will have a lot to do, and we want him to spend as little time as possible sleeping, and I hope this justifies this purchase. Paul also does not have the steel bladder lifetime reward just yet, so we need a toilet, and for that purpose let's actually buy the cheapest one. It should do the job just fine until we get that reward, and if it breaks on the way there, well, that's an opportunity for Pete to get some free repairs. And despite being rather tired, we will now start a science fiction novel with Paul, simply because he has the wish to write one. Don't worry, we won't have him work all night. As a matter of fact, while Pete is already going to bed after having a shower, let's have Paul go to the bathroom as well. And then he can also go to bed before he has his first day of school tomorrow. And once again, Ayesha excels at perfect timing. That's another star discovered, number 18. We get a bit of cash for that. And with the rest of the household already asleep, Ayesha can join them now as well. Alright, not really the next morning just yet, but we can already make some preparations. And first of all, we could use a bit of cash. And the food replicator is a good object to sell. We don't really need it at this point. We already finished the upgrade and it's worth quite a lot. So let's sell that, and with the money that we just made, buy something else. And that would be the trash compactor. Not really because we need it, but you guessed it right, because there's another unique upgrade for this one. And Pete has the day off today, so he needs something to do. And no surprise, here he is after getting up, and he will immediately start working on the trash compactor. All of his needs are in the green, and Paul can also finally take care of himself. Ayesha is awake early as well. She will spend the next few hours until the carpool arrives on the telescope, while Paul will take a quick shower, then eat something, and read a book because he has a wish to do so until the school bus arrives. Alright, time for Ayesha to go to work, and time for Paul to go to school for the first time. Paul will work hard at school just to get him into the territory of good grades fast, and Ayesha will build an independent case simply because there's nothing else that really makes sense for her to do at work. And congratulations Pete, with the upgrade to the trash compactor he has now reached level 10 of the handiness skill. Only the skill challenges and a few unique upgrades remain now, until we can finally say he has completed that skill. Pete will now grab the mail and pay the bills, and let's actually see what we got in the mail. A wall painting, and quite a valuable one at that. Let's put that here. Well, actually no, let's not do that. We can sell that for cash. I think that makes a bit more sense at this point. And speaking of cash, we can spend some again and buy an item that is, at least upgrade-wise, one of the most versatile in the entire game. And that is a fireplace. Two things to mention here. Number one, we will place this outdoors, so our house doesn't catch fire should we have a little accident. And number two, I'm mainly buying this for the upgrade, so we'll cheap out. As you might have been able to see, the fireplace has a total of 3 upgrade possibilities, and we'll start by applying the Autolight upgrade. And I believe for the very first time, building an independent case has paid off. Actually no, we have received this info before. Nonetheless, we just made 2000 simoleons, and we'll gladly take that. Alright, that is the first of 3 upgrades on the fireplace completed. Let's continue straight away with another one. Then we can switch over to Ayesha. Her workday has come to an end, and she will now tackle an opportunity that we have for quite a while now, and that is to teach a logic class at school. Speaking of opportunities and school, here is the very first opportunity in the life of Paul. And making a quick drop-off at City Hall for improved grades, that is an easy one and we'll take that. Just a few moments later, Paul's day at school also comes to an end and he wants to go over to Rhonda after school. Sorry Paul, but not today. You have homework to do and a book to write, maybe another time. For now, Paul can quickly run over to City Hall for the drop-off. In the meantime, Ayesha finishes up her logic class. She gets a bit of cash for that and will now head home to search the galaxy again. We're back at home with Pete. We get the message that Paul has completed his opportunity, and Pete has also completed the second upgrade. He will now use the computer to work from home for a while, just because he has the wish to do so. And that is the wish fulfilled. Back to the fireplace you go. There is still one unique upgrade left. And Paul has come home as well. He will now start doing his homework, and thanks to the bookworm trait, that will go a bit faster than usual. Alright, just slightly over an hour later, Paul is done, and he will now grab some of the leftovers from the fridge. After all, it was a long day. Ayesha has not been successful on the telescope yet, so we can have her teach Paul some skills. That is something she can do because of the logic skill, and there is a skill challenge for teaching people. It's not too hard to complete, but we have to get started somewhere. Alright, that's 3 of 3 upgrades for Pete, congratulations. And because the day is running so smoothly for him, let's head into the buy menu and buy a television. We want to make sure, however, not to buy one of the 2 most expensive ones, because those 2 already have all available channels. And we want to apply the boost channels upgrade, so for those 2, of course, that wouldn't work. Alright, the logic learning session between Ayesha and Paul has come to an end. Ayesha will once again try her luck on the telescope, and Paul will continue to write his science fiction novel. Just for a short while, however, because he quickly becomes stressed out. We can counter that, however, by making him read a book. That also works towards a wish he has, so definitely makes sense. Alright, seems like Ayesha has a bit more luck this time. That is star number 19 discovered. That means only 1 more to go until we get the Celestial Explorer skill challenge. Ayesha has already gone off to bed as Paul finishes reading his very first book. That fulfills his wish, gives him 500 lifetime happiness points, and he can now go off to bed as well. Of course, we could force Pete to work until he is finished upgrading the TV, but a career in the military is no joke. He has to get up early, so please Pete, go to bed. And with the entirety of our household asleep, let's make a cut here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.